Hey, what's up, everyone? This is your host of the Startup Junkie, AJ, and let me put my glasses on, okay? So whenever I put my glasses on and I'm front facing you, a face-to-face video, that means I have something important to share with you, something that you need to know as a person that may have been affected by the recent current change in our environment, basically a change in the world's environment, and today is no different. We are going to examine the last 40 seconds of Fed Chair Jerome Powell's prepared statement from yesterday, and I'm going to point out to you how much of what we're expecting to actually get this economy booming and back to work is really, lies in DC. Okay, it's really there. Okay, and also I'm gonna explain to you just a little bit about what the Fed's responsibility is to us, and of course Jerome Powell's gonna talk about it. And it's only 40 seconds, but it's so impactful, it's so powerful, and people shall perish based on the lack of their knowledge. Okay, well, you will not be one of those who, not informed. Check out the show. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's show. Yes, I know I'm coming to you a bit early, but I just thought it was important to actually share this information with you. Yes, I'm in black and white, and yes, this is a face-fronting video, meaning I'm serious today. All right. I use the black and white for the dramatic effect. As you know, that's what Apple used to do. So I'm following it in Apple's footsteps. Why not? You're watching right now. All right. And you're paying attention not only to me, but what's really going on in today's, economy, and how there's just so much that's really riding and depending on whether or not Congress gets its ish together. And truthfully, I'm a hopeful person, and I really want to remain hopeful. But I want to share with you what Fed Chair Jerome Powell said in a 8.5-minute pre-recorded response to what's going on in the economy, to what's going on with Main Street lending, to what's going on in Americans' households, and also what is actually happening with people just like you. Okay, people like you may have been furloughed, may have lost your job, maybe still honestly waiting on a stimulus check, which is unfreaking believable, right? And people who just basically want to know, is there a pot of gold at the end of this long, I'm not going to say rainbow, but this long thunderstorm. All right. And so I appreciate people checking in. Thank you very much, LP. LP is on Periscope right now, and I appreciate you checking in, and I appreciate all those people checking in on Facebook as well as Periscope/Twitter, and who are watching on YouTube this broadcast live right now. And if you don't know who I am, I'm AJ, your host of the Startup Junkie. Be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live show, multi-streaming across all of the platforms, soon to come to Twitch, and soon, once I can get the producer back, once we can, stop as much social distancing thing happening, we'll be going live on IG. But until then, you have me, and you can check out the Startup Junkie live podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. So let's just get into it. I am going to play for you right now exactly what Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said yesterday, and I'm also going to come back to you and explain to you in very, very simple terms, okay, what the Federal Reserve does. And I am going to also talk a little bit about the different elements of what he's saying, and it's only 40 seconds, and why it is so important to you. That said, just check out this video. Check it out. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is your host of the Startup Junkie, AJ, and let me.
Recall, though, that the Fed has lending powers, not spending powers. A loan from a Fed facility can provide a bridge across temporary interruptions to liquidity, and those loans will help many borrowers get through the current crisis. But the recovery may take some time to gather momentum, and the passage of time can turn liquidity problems into solvency problems. Additional fiscal support could be costly, but worth it if it helps avoid long-term damage and leaves us with a stronger recovery. This trade-off is one for our elected representatives who wield powers of taxation and spending.
This one is for our elected representatives that wield power. Okay. In other words, it's up to Congress. All right. And what Fed Powell said starting off in the video, he basically said, "Hey, look, I remind you that we only have lending power, not spending power." Okay. And I don't know if you also noticed, the caption that popped up on the screen under him that said that 40% of the people who lost their jobs in this economy are people that are making under $40,000 a year. So my interpretation of that is, hell, I mean, if you're making under $40,000 a year, you're barely making it anyway. All right. And to have 40% of those people actually lose their job is unfreaking believable. And it doesn't actually help the economy because, let's face it, in order for the economy to work, people have to participate in it. In order for people to participate in it, they literally have to have money, moolah, cheddar, scratch. They have to have money to actually participate. And you know what the statistics says in terms of the number of people who can't even scrounge together $400 in this country or don't even have $1,000 saved in their bank accounts. Most people prior to this were living paycheck to paycheck. Now, what Powell said in the entire 8+ minute pre-recorded presentation, he basically said that this is not part of some kind of bubble that bursted, such as in 2001 where we had, or 2001 where we had the dot-com bust, or in 87 when we had the S&L scandal, which is savings and loan, or in 2008 where late 2007 2008 economic crisis. This is not a situation of our own making, right? It's not. So before I get even deeper, I'm going to share with you exactly what the Federal Reserve does. And it's important for you to understand because people, the lack of knowledge, they shall perish. And I guarantee you, you will be informed. So let me just share my screen here. All right. So what does the Federal Reserve do? The Federal Reserve controls inflation by managing credit, the largest component of the money supply. This is why people say the Fed prints money. The Fed moderates long-term interest rates through open markets and Fed fund rates. So let's scroll down here a little bit. It says the Fed's, meaning the Federal Reserve, three functions are to: one, conduct the nation's monetary policy. Okay. Two, provide and maintain an effective and efficient payment system. And three, supervise and regulate banking operations. Okay. So I'm going to make it super duper simple for you. At the end of the day, all right, the Federal Reserve has power, okay? And their power is to lend, and they have tools, okay? Their power is to lend and basically put money into the economy. All right? But whether or not you as a taxpayer, you as a citizen, you as a hardworking American can actually get that money is another is another story. And that depends a whole lot on laws being passed. So that's why, like I said to you yesterday, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they threw their cards on the table with the HEROES Act, the $3 trillion bill, 800 as McCarthy, the Senate minority leader, said it's an 800+ page wish list. But is it really a wish list? Or is it something that we need, such as loans to small businesses, such as money for states and cities for to ramp up testing, for contact tracing, and all these different things? So, do we really need it? Do we need mainstream lending? The answer simply is yes. We do need it. Not only do we need it, you, as a taxpayer, should expect it. I'm your host of the Startup Junkie, AJ. Be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live show right here, multi-streaming on Facebook, Instagram / Twitter. Periscope / Twitter. Soon to come to Instagram. And as far as I'm concerned, we're just here for you. All right. And be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live podcast on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. And I am not going to take much more of your time, but I just need you to know that we have to have some action from those that yield the power, okay? Yield the power of spending, and not those who yield the power of lending, because clearly the Fed chair is taking care of that. And the outlook could be quite rosy if Congress gets its ish together, because the money is there. All right. So thank you for checking out the Startup Junkie. I appreciate everyone for doing that. Until tomorrow, everyone, take care. Take care.